Hello, welcome to our special edition. My name is Anastasia Lavrina, and today with me here I have a very distinguished guest. Joining me now is Ms. Vaira Vike Freiberger, co-chair Nizami Ganjavi International Center and former president of Latvia. Warm welcome to our studio.
Hello.
Hello, and thank you so much for your time. So the 12th Global Baku Forum lasted here last 3 days. We could see a lot of participants coming here to discuss the challenges and also the opportunities the world can have in near future. Therefore, what were the most compelling outcomes of this year's conference?
I do believe that we started out with an old Chinese sort of concept that everybody understands and trying to slightly rephrase it. But it is that, well, we live in hard and difficult times, but it's also an opportunity to see what we can do about it. We talked about a variety of challenges that the world changes. Azerbaijan was host to a successful COP29 conference. We participated as Nizami Ganjavi actively in that conference as well. I was part of the advisory group with Minister Babayev. And that dossier, if you like, that question, made great progress here in Baku during the COP29. But meanwhile, I think there's a lot of regress in other areas elsewhere in the world. The American withdrawal of funds from international aid, from international institutions like the World Health Organization, when only recently we had a world pandemic. These are very serious complications. We had a program that was chock full of distinguished people, people with great experience in politics, in business, at the United Nations, in international groups, both business and of social importance. And our programs ran from early in the morning till literally the middle of the night, because our night owl sessions after dinner finished like last night at about midnight.
Wow.
So you cannot squeeze more debate and discussion within the allotted time that you have. But we consider that time is precious. People have come here from many parts of Africa. We have representatives of South America here, from the United States, from a great many different countries. And they can have a chance here of discussing face to face with a real person that you can touch and make sure they're not AI. You can make sure that it's not disinformation, that it's not some kind of bot that's telling you false news, that's twisting something. You hear from each person's mouth what they think. Now, this is not a decision-making body. We're not a government that's going to send troops and an army to do this, that, or the other. We're not a financial foundation that is going to fill the needs of starving children or heal sicknesses or things of that nature. We are a group who come together to see what is happening, to do a diagnosis of what the complications of the world are, what are the important challenges as seen from different parts of the world. You may have the same problem that is seen differently from a mountainous country and from one whose islands are about to disappear in the Pacific Ocean if the climate warms and that sort of thing. And we have the opportunity to hear different views and to express ours and to contradict each other and to see how it will go. Countries can pretend to be in dialogue with each other, they can actually not pretend and go at war, whatever. Here we are trying to do what is essentially a prelude to any kind of diplomacy anywhere in the world, which means being able to clearly state where you stand, what you stand for, and listening with respect to what others are saying and where they stand, and how we can possibly sometimes find a middle way that will bring us closer together in our common humanity.
So dialogue, negotiations, the ability to listen to the opinion of every single member. Can we say that this is the right way to turn the challenges into opportunities in our time?
It's one of the bases of it. You have to understand where you are. It's like a medical doctor who is faced with a patient who is not feeling well. You first find out where it hurts, where something doesn't move, or something doesn't function. Then you start looking for solutions, medicine or therapy or something for it. But you see, when you talk about progress in general, that's just only part of it. Progress is made by people who have courage, who have imagination, who have creativity, and who have goodwill towards mankind. If people have intelligence, resources, but they're evil-minded and have no respect for their fellow human beings, then they are not going to be the ones who will make the world go forward. It will go backwards.
You have a great political career and great experience of working in the political system. I would like to know your vision of the geopolitical changes the world is facing today. Do you think that there is still potential for close coordination in between of the, let's say, United States and Europe to have a global approach to the challenges facing by today?
Well, you see, even last November at COP, we thought we had made progress in this sort of understanding. We really did. And then you see in a few months and in a few weeks, everything shifts around. I spent many years of my life in Canada because my parents were refugees from the communist and Soviet invasion of Latvia and occupation. We always considered Americans as our best neighbors and friends. President Trump himself in person signed a trilateral trade agreement with Mexico and Canada, said that it was the best deal for everybody. Right. Now he's saying that everybody is jipping off and exploiting America, that they're subsidizing Canada. He's talking, I mean, from a head of state we are hearing, well, forgive me for saying so, but it's absolute nonsense. It truly is absolute nonsense, and that is very scary. And then on the other half of the world, you have somebody who's rewriting history and saying that, frankly, the independence that the countries that had been oppressed by the Soviet Union managed to get their independence in 1991, that this is all an illusion, and he wants to restitute the system that was before, or better still, the one of the Tsarist Empire. Well, the German Reich and Empire are gone. The Ottoman Empire has gone. The Austro-Hungarian Empire has gone. The Soviet Union has gone. They are on a dust heap of history. And here is a man, the president of the Russian Federation, wanting to turn us back into a time where one nation, meaning by which the Russian Federation is actually the tyrannic master of all the nations that are around, and which we consider they had entitled to a sphere of influence over all their neighbors. That is something that, again, we are stepping backwards towards ages past when we hoped we had made progress, and we have to. I feel like we're sort of, if I imagine myself like on a bicycle in a Tour de France, you see, the passages where they go up the mountains. We now have a mountain and we have to pedal, we really have to pedal very hard, because we have a feeling that there's so much pushback from forces that are archaic or just simply false. Canada does not depend and is not subsidized by America. Europe was not founded to do harm to the United States. For heaven's sakes, nothing even remotely resembling. We have ideas that are floating around that are so horribly wrong that when we are here and we talk face to face with living beings from different parts of the world, we try and sort of pinch ourselves and say, am I talking to a human being, and am I finding that this is a rational human being? And I'm so relieved that at least the people I have spoken here at the 12th Baku Forum, I have been much relieved, and it gives me at least hope for humanity, that there are so many, not only intelligent, but also nice people around in the world.
And my last question, if I may, Baku, Azerbaijan, is a small country, but we could see how these small country in the South Caucasus bring together the world leaders, the policymakers, the former presidents who are coming here to talk about the challenges and opportunities. So maybe now is the right time for small countries to have more power.
Well, small countries really have to, I think, continue a process of education, if it is possible, towards the rest of the world, who seem to be more and more focused on more. Russia has the most enormous territory of any country in the world. They have to invade another country, for goodness sakes. They do not need territory. Why do they have to do that? Well, they want to be great. They want to be greater than ever before. They want to be the greatest. Mr. Trump looks at the map and he says, look, if we added Canada and we added Greenland, the United States would be greater than it was before, you see. And then I think we have a fixation on bigness, on a false understanding of greatness. We worship money, and we think that if somebody has the most money in the world, he is the most capable and the person who's able to solve all the problems, for instance, of the United States. And we have to simply somehow, I don't know how our education systems are going to do it, and our people of goodwill and diplomats. We have to get away from this fixation on bigness and on money and brute force. It's no good for humanity.
Indeed. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining our discussion today.